Hi guys, welcome back to this place. If you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I am Carmen, and today we are watching Season 2, Episode 7 of Dark, the penultimate episode of Season 2. We are so close to the final season of the show, and honestly, it stresses me out a little bit because I don't want it to be over. I cannot reiterate enough. I literally see it every single episode. You guys are so tired of hearing it probably, but I am obsessed with this show. I'm obsessed with trying to figure it out. I'm obsessed with just the casting, the acting, the writing, the cinematography. Every single aspect of this show is so fucking good. Last time we had some reveals, like Jonas is the one who led Mikkel into the cave, a la Adam. Adam sent Jonas back to trigger his dad to do what he did, to trigger the chain of events to happen like it did. We learned that Alexander was possibly involved in a murder, which is what he was fleeing from in the one episode. Just a lot of things happened. And I, for one, am quite interested in finding out what happens next. So without any more rambling by me, let's get into it. Also, yes, I changed my glasses. I am still getting used to them, so please be kind. I had to get a new prescription because it had been like 10 years since I had a new prescription. So my little eyes needed to be able to see better. I also got contacts, but I don't know that I'll wear those on camera because I feel very self-conscious about my face without glasses. Anyway, I mean, I feel very self-conscious of my face with glasses, but that's a whole different thing. Anyway, let's just get into it.
All sein Handeln ist motiviert aus Verlangen. Sein Charakter geschmiedet aus Schmerz.
She is
So sehr
stealing
er
it.
auch versucht, den Schmerz zu verdrängen, das Verlangen zu unterdrücken. So wenig kann er sich doch frei machen von der ewigen Knechtschaft seiner Gefühle.
Are these people?
Denn solange der Sturm in ihm tobt,
I'm confused.
kann er keinen Frieden finden. Nicht im Leben, nicht im Tod.
They're just remembering these people, right?
Und so wird er Tag für Tag alles tun, was nötig ist. Der Schmerz, sein Schiff,
Okay.
das Verlangen, sein Kompass.
They're just thinking about those people. Okay. I was like, did he fucking
Wozu
kidnap
der
Marta?
Mensch doch fähig ist.
I need to watch that again, to be fair.
Auffällig sind noch die Augen. Ein blaues, ein braunes. Nennt sich Heterochromie.
She came to talk to him, so he know. But also, that's his daughter. How fucking
Diese Frau war sie.
crazy is that?
Sie war auf dem Polizeirevier.
Yeah.
Am gleichen Tag, als der kleine Helge wieder aufgetaucht ist. Und? Sie war verwirrt. Nicht ganz bei sich.
Well, not really.
Sie hat sich für irgendwas entschuldigt. Ich hab nicht verstanden, wofür.
Am gleichen Tag, als Helge zurückgekommen ist.
Sie muss über längere Zeit einer starken Strahlung ausgesetzt gewesen sein.
Geh noch mal zu dem Dopplerjungen, zeig ihm ein Foto von ihr. Vielleicht erkennt er sie ja wieder.
That's crazy because that's his daughter. 20s. Oh.
26. Juni. Ist was?
Well, yeah, she knows the future.
Ich habe das Meeting mit den Franzosen für heute Vormittag neu angesetzt.
She's not gonna be there. The French are gonna be very unhappy
Kommt
with
ihr
her.
dann?
You'd be like, where's my time machine at? Yeah, your mom took it. She probably already using it. Did he know this would happen? In which case, would you just not let it happen? I don't know.
Das hat alles was mit mir zu tun.
Yeah, but what? We still don't really know.
Noah hat gesagt, dass die Welt morgen untergeht. Und er hat gesagt, dass sie lebt.
Her mother?
Meine Mutter.
Playing the creepy Padre Noah music.
Es gibt unter dem Namen Alexander Köhler in dem gesuchten Zeitraum nur eine einzige Registrierung.
Und da sahen die Augen und hörten die Ohren. Und nichts war mehr verborgen.
Freud.
Sagen Sie Herrn Wöller Bescheid.
A bit rude. He has a history with this place or with the murder that we just didn't know about. Or we still don't.
Du hast doch gesagt, dass er Teil davon ist. Vielleicht weiß er ja im Gegensatz zu dir, was das Ganze hier bedeutet. Vielleicht weiß er, wo Papa ist oder Mikkel oder keine Ahnung, Mann.
I mean, to be fair, he does know all of those things.
Dass du monatelang wusstest, was hier abgeht und du hast es weder mir noch irgendjemand anderem von uns gesagt.
Again, how could he have told you? Like, what did you expect him to say? Marta, this is pretty unfair.
Macht, was ihr wollt.
I mean, I understand why she's so upset. It's just like, I'm not sure how you think that it would just be that easy to tell somebody something like that.
Kennst du diese Frau? Warst du vielleicht bei ihr?
That's kind of a
Hat sie
leading
dich
question.
eingesperrt?
That's a very leading question.
Er hat mir von ihr erzählt. Dem weißen Teufel.
The White Devil.
Sie will uns töten. Uns alle.
Sie ist tot. Sie kann niemandem mehr wehtun.
Aber sie hat doch noch gar nicht damit angefangen.
He knows about time travel.
Ich muss los. Ins Krankenhaus. Erste Chemo.
Kann ich dich vielleicht begleiten?
She's trying to stick close to him because she doesn't want it to happen.
Also, nur wenn du möchtest.
Das wäre schön.
Was sollte mir da auffallen?
1,71, schätze ich mal. Maximal. In dem Dokument steht aber 1,75. Also, wo sind Sie?
Where, what, the 2 inches?
Wo ist was?
Die 4 Zentimeter.
Das ist doch lächerlich. Ich werde Sie festnehmen.
For being 2 inches
Wegen des Verdachts
shorter?
auf Identitätsmissbrauchs.
Das können Sie gar nicht.
Okay. So 1, he looks taller than 5'6" to me. But 2, don't people also like shrink a bit when they get older? So could that not explain it? Also, you can lie about your height. So I just like, I don't think that's like a smoking gun. You know what I mean? I don't know. Is it Marta?
Entschuldigung.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Yeah, it is Marta.
Ich glaube, ich habe gerade ein Déjà-vu oder so.
She recognizes
Geh mal
him
lieber.
somehow.
Ein Fehler in der Matrix.
Ooh.
Was?
Oder eine Botschaft aus dem Jenseits. Das hast du mal irgendwo gelesen.
Woher wissen Sie das?
'Cause it's Jonas. Just a bit older. Maybe more than a bit.
Du hast den Anhänger gefunden.
Yeah. You were right, he's there. I don't know why that makes me so sad for her.
Kennst du diesen Film mit dem jungen Kerl, der mit seinem Auto in die Vergangenheit reisen kann?
Back to the Future?
Ich weiß, das klingt jetzt verrückt, aber das aus dem Film, das gibt es wirklich.
This is very interesting.
Zeitreise.
Because she already knows that.
Und irgendwie hat das alles mit Mats und Helge zu tun. Und den Dingen, die vor über 30 Jahren passiert sind.
He's so right. Just wish that he had realized that before, you know, stopping Ulrich from taking Mikkel.
Hat sie gesagt, was sie will? Es geht um den Mann in der Anstalt. Der die Knaben umgebracht hat. Sie sagt, sie kennt ihn.
Is it Hannah?
Danke.
Is it gonna be fucking Hannah? This bitch.
Kann ich ihn sehen?
Das ist nicht so einfach. Er befindet sich momentan in einer psychiatrischen Einrichtung. Er redet nicht.
Aber vielleicht redet er ja mit mir.
I mean, I definitely think that's a possibility too.
Darf ich Sie nach Ihrem Namen fragen?
What's she gonna say?
Nielsen. Katharina Nielsen.
Oh. That's interesting.
Es tut mir so leid.
He's a bit old for you now, to be fair. And also your nephew.
Es macht plötzlich alles Sinn. Wenn man es weiß, dann sieht man sofort.
This is not gonna look good for you, Jonas.
Martha? Weißt du, wer das ist? Hä? Hat er dir gesagt, wo dein Bruder ist? Wer dein Bruder ist? Das da ist der Sohn deines Bruders. Mein Enkel und dein Neffe.
Yeah, it's not a lie.
Mikkel ist Michael Kahnwald. Martha, verstehst du? Und du bist seine Tante.
Yeah. He hadn't gotten around to that yet.
Martha. Es tut mir so leid.
Yeah, this poor girl. This poor fucking girl.
Glaub mir, ich wollte...
Wo ist deine Maschine? Die Maschine, mit der man durch die Zeit reisen kann.
Hannah took
hat
it.
sie. Sie ist verschwunden.
Hannah?
Yeah.
Magnus hat den Apparat.
Was?
Wir sind damit gereist.
Du warst da? Hast du Mikkel gesehen? Mikkel. Du lässt deine dreckigen Finger von ihr. Hast du mich verstanden?
many layers to every interaction, you know? It's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Poor fucking Marta.
Mein Bruder ist auch spurlos verschwunden.
Ooh, interesting.
86.
Okay. So he is involved in this.
Ganz ähnlich wie das Verschwinden von Mats Nielsen hier.
What's your brother's name?
Keine Spuren. Nichts. Und er hieß auch Alexander. Alexander Köhler. Genau wie sie. Ja.
He took his brother's
Ein gängiger
identity?
Name.
Oh, fuck.
Genau genommen gibt es über 700 gemeldete Alexander Köhlers in Deutschland.
Really?
Das ist gar nicht so einfach, jeden einzelnen Alexander Köhler aufzuspüren. Insbesondere, wenn man den Nachnamen der Frau angenommen hat.
Oh, so this is...
Glauben Sie mir, spreche aus Erfahrung.
Has he done it? Has he tracked down all
Nach
of
der
them?
Trennung meiner Eltern habe ich den Nachnamen meiner Mutter angenommen.
Ooh,
Von Köhler zu Clausen.
Clausen.
Und für manche Menschen bin ich bis heute unauffindbar. Aber vor ein paar Monaten
Uh-huh.
ist das hier passiert.
What happened? Who the fuck wrote him that? Claudia? Jonas? Adam?
Lesen Sie. Laut.
Alright. Did he assume his brother's identity? That's not what he did. What does it say?
Wer Augen hat zu sehen
Oh, the
und
Freud
Ohren zu
quote.
hören, bezeugt sich, dass die Sterblichen kein Geheimnis verbergen können. Denn wessen Lippen schweigen, der schwätzt mit den Fingerspitzen. Und aus allen Poren dringt ihm der Verrat. Die Antworten zu ihrem Bruder finden Sie in Landen.
So that's why he asked to be assigned to this case.
Sie. Sind definitiv nicht mein Bruder.
To be honest, y'all look enough alike that, like, I would believe it. Also, conflict of interest much on this case? You know, no.
Wenn er mit Ihnen redet, also, falls er mit Ihnen redet, bringen Sie ihn dazu, mit der Polizei zu sprechen. Bringen Sie ihn dazu, ein Geständnis abzulegen.
But you don't have any evidence.
Ihr wusstet von dem ganzen Zeitreisescheiß. Warum habt ihr nichts gesagt?
Again, everybody wants people to be like, time
Clausen.
travel's real, guys.
Ja.
But, like, would you...
Franziska.
Franziska, would you fucking believe it?
Ulrich. Ulrich, ich bin's. Hanna.
Hanna.
Ulrich, ich bin's.
Wirklich.
He's probably like, where the fuck is my wife?
Katharina. Wie geht es, Katharina? Warte, Agnes.
Wenn du heute wählen könntest. Zwischen Katharina und mir.
Oh, God. Ulrich, just fucking say her. Lie. Lie your little ass off. Lie your little ass off. This bitch is crazy.
Ich habe versucht, mich zu erinnern, ob du jemals "Ich liebe dich" zu mir gesagt hast.
Ich hab dich geliebt. Ich liebe dich noch immer.
Good, 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 good.
Hol mich hier raus, dann verlasse ich Katharina. Ich liebe dich.
Okay. He's lying, but I don't know that she's gonna believe it.
Er hat gesagt, Ich brauche niemanden. Aber die Wahrheit ist, ihr braucht mich nicht.
Doch, ich brauche dich, Anne. Ich liebe dich.
Did she come here just to do this?
Ich tue alles, was du willst. Hol mich hier raus. Bitte. Anna, ich liebe dich. Hörst du? Ich liebe dich. Anna. Bleib! Ich liebe dich! Du scheiß Fotze! Bleib!
She is. What the fuck is wrong with her?
Er hat Ähnlichkeiten mit ihm, aber ist das nicht mein Mann?
Clearly she's lying. I mean, it's not her husband, but like, she clearly knows this man. Like, are you fucking, like... She's like, you broke up with me, so I'm gonna make you stay in an institution for the rest of your life in a time that you don't exist in, just to keep you away from your family, because I'm upset that you chose your wife over me. In the middle of your son being missing, too, by the way. What? Does he realize? Does he realize about her being the
Warum bist du wirklich hier?
old woman?
Was soll denn das jetzt?
Du weißt es.
Was weiß ich?
Du weißt über die Zeitreise Bescheid. Das alles hat mit dem AKW zu tun.
Ich möchte jetzt gehen.
He's right.
Du steckst da mit drin.
Yep.
Mach dich nicht lächerlich.
I thought he
Wir
realized.
müssen die Höhlen durchsuchen lassen.
Da ist nichts in den Höhlen! Es gibt keine Zeitreise!
Does she kill him? No.
Diese Substanz stellt alles auf den Kopf, was wir über das Universum wissen. Und du willst das alles aufs Spiel setzen? Für nichts?
It's not for nothing.
Dir geht es immer noch nur um dich.
Other people's lives aren't
Du hast
nothing.
kein Herz.
Lass los.
Oh, he's gonna fall and hit his head or something, right? Yep.
Gottes Willen, Papa.
Yeah, she killed him.
Bleib genauso liegen. Beweg dich nicht. Ich rufe einen Krankenwagen.
She killed him. Why hang up? Bitch.
Aber wenn alles gelingt, damit sie leben. Regina.
Oh my god. I couldn't do it. Are you fucking kidding me? He's in pain. You can hear him.
Du bist der weise Teufel.
He figured it out. Oh my god. Maybe we can't fucking trust Claudia either. Fucking hell. Sit there and watch your fucking dad die? Hannah, you need to fuck off. You're not gonna reproduce anymore, are you? Because the timeline is muddy enough. Like, you know, the family trees. This isn't gonna become a thing, is it? Because Egon, nah. I wonder who his brother is, if we're supposed to, like, know him. Honestly, he literally looks like he could be that kid grown up. I'm just saying. I don't know what happened, but... Is it herself and Jonas? Oh. Just Jonas.
Wer bist du?
Wir müssen jetzt gehen. Wir haben nicht mehr viel Zeit.
Where the fuck are you going? I don't either.
Ich weiß, was du getan hast. Aber sie hat auch gesagt, dass es nicht wieder so passieren muss. Nächstes Mal.
Next time?
Wohin gehen wir?
To change it?
In die Zukunft.
Okay, that was my next guess. Yeah, I figured that would be the end of it. I just need to re-hear what Adam said. Alright, so I agree with that to an extent, you know? I think that, like, we can also recognize when our feelings aren't logical, and we can recognize when our feelings maybe contradict the best course of action, and we can choose to act against what we know isn't the best, even though we feel that it would be a better choice. Does that make sense? I think that humans are capable of, like, choosing logic over emotion. I think that emotion is just the quickest thing, right? So, like, here's the thing. This is a tangent that nobody asked for. But I think that this is why, like, reactions are such a good, or such a thing that we enjoy, right? Because reactions are dictated by emotion for the most part, right? Like, I mean, I guess maybe I can only speak for myself, but I feel like in general, like, our initial gut reaction to something is based purely off emotion. And then my post-episode discussion is usually like, I've had some time throughout the episode to sort of try to rationalize and logic what I think the characters are experiencing and, like, what the story is trying to tell me. And so I think that that's why, like, we can have a more nuanced discussion and thought process about things after an episode, or even like a week or two later, because we've been able to process it logically and rationally as well as emotionally. Whereas initially, like, your gut reaction, it might not be correct, it might be way off, but it's just like what you're going off based off, like, pure instinct and emotion, right? Which I think is what makes reactions so interesting, again. Anyway, maybe that's just my opinion. Okay, so this episode was really interesting because for the life of me, I cannot figure out, like, where we're going, or, like, what Adam actually wants, or even what, like, the oldest iteration of Claudia that we know actually wants, right? Like, I feel like their motives are still very murky to me, and I think that makes it really interesting, because we obviously know starting off where, like, the Jonas from season 1 that we're sort of seeing now, like in the last scene, we kind of know, like, what he wants. And then there's also so many pieces of the puzzle that are being kept from us that we don't know yet. And so I think that that's what makes this show so fun and so interesting, is because we're trying to create an entire picture in our brains and in our thought process of, like, the entire puzzle. And yet, like, half of the pieces are missing, right? And we have, like, I don't know, so many different snippets of a story, but there's so much integral bits and pieces that we're missing. So we have, like, the end kind of Jonas's arc, right, with Adam, and we have the very beginning with, like, little baby Jonas, before his dad died, that we saw in the last episode, like the summer that he was just enjoying his life, you know? Like, we have all these, and then we have older Jonas, and then we have like different iterations of younger Jonas, and so we have all these pieces of Jonas, and we don't really know where his whole story is. And it's so interesting because Adam knows the whole story. Adult Claudia, like the oldest version of Claudia, knows the whole story, but we don't. And so it's so fun to try to like figure out where they're coming from and why they're making the choices that they're making. Something that's interesting with Claudia and Jonas so far is that I feel like they've both had chances to sort of change the narrative, and yet they've both believed in the older iterations of themselves enough to continue to let the story play out in the way that it did before. Like, Claudia could have made a different choice there, right? Like, she could have not hung up with 911. She could have, I don't know, not put her own sort of ideas and selfish needs, like her dad was saying, in front of this, because it's so interesting too, because in that scene, she's like, you know, it doesn't matter. But there are multiple children that have died that he's talking about. There's multiple families that have been ripped apart. There's 2 people right now that you know of, because you also know that time travel is real, that's life is drastically changed and that you could make better. And yet none of that matters to you as much as this scientific discovery, right? So I just think that's kind of interesting insight into like Claudia, and like if we should trust her even. Like, I think that ultimately she chose to do what she did with her dad because an older version of her had told her that, at least this is how she interpreted what she said, that she had to let that happen in order for Regina to live. And so she's making this sacrifice of this person she loves to try to save this other person that she loves in the future. Now, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure how it would save Regina to allow that to happen. I'm not sure why her and Jonas sort of trust these older versions of themselves, because I don't know. I do not have children, so I can't speak to that. But I just think that I would have a real, I would have a lot of trouble letting a person I love, like my dad, sure, let me put myself in her position, die in front of me just because I thought it might one day save someone else, like years down the line. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of trust to place in yourself. And also, like, if that's what had already happened in the loop that we're in, then wouldn't letting that happen again not affect Regina? Because, like, currently, in the loop that we're currently in, where this stuff happened, she's dying of cancer. So maybe changing that would change it to the point where she would live. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's really interesting, the place, the trust that Jonas and Claudia have put in the older iterations of themselves. In particular, Jonas, I think, because another older version of him had already told him that Adam couldn't be trusted. And he knew that Adam was, he didn't know that Adam was older him. But then when he found out and the pieces put together, then it was older him. I just think it's interesting that he chose to trust that iteration of himself versus the other iteration of himself, you know? So I'm not sure exactly why, but I do think it's interesting. I wish that Egon's sort of self-reflection would have come, you know, just a little bit sooner so that Ulrich could have escaped with Mikkel. But I do think that him taking Mikkel back to the cave and everything is really what made Egon sort of start to believe that what he thought was happening, even though it didn't make sense, is actually what was happening. And I don't think he fully put it together until he realized that she was, in fact, the white devil, right? So he realized that she was the older woman that had come to him when he was young. Like, I think he didn't put it all together until those last moments in his apartment. So I guess I can sort of forgive him for literally being the only thing that stopped Ulrich and Mikkel from being able to go back, even though he's the one who told him. Like, he had to have believed to some extent to tell him about it in the last episode, right? So, I don't know. I don't think that he had fully convinced himself that he was correct. I think that he thought, like, as you would, which I've said multiple times in this episode, like, you would think that that was a little bit less than sane. Speaking of, like, I think that it's really interesting to sort of see these conversations with, like, Marta being so upset at Bartosz, and then Franziska being so, and I'm so sorry that I've been saying her name so wrong. I'm pretty sure that I'm saying it right now, Franziska. It's hard, you guys. Talking is hard for me. But Franziska being so upset at, like, Charlotte and them. But I also think that, like, one, they're teenagers, right? So, you know, I can understand. But two, it's just like, I wish that one of them, anybody, would just sit back and be like, you know what? I am upset that you didn't tell me because I feel like you should trust me enough to try to confide in me. However, I also recognize that, like, I would not have fucking believed you 10 months ago, 5 months ago, you know, whenever. So I kind of wish that, you know, there would be some self-reflection in their anger, but I also think that, especially with Franziska, like, she has a lot of trauma with her family, just feeling like they're not telling her anything, feeling like they're keeping secrets, and they think that they're keeping secrets, like, to help the kids, but really the secrets that they're keeping are tearing their family apart and making it kind of unbearable for her. So I can understand, in particular, her. And then, of course, I guess with Marta as well, like, you know, how much shit does she have to lose, you know? She's lost her brother, her dad, the guy she loves, and Bartosz knew the whole time that her brother and her dad were alive, just somewhere else, and that could have saved her a lot of grief and a lot of pain. And he knew about Jonas as well, so it's like, I can understand at the same time, like, why there would be this anger, in particular, like, from Marta to Bartosz and from Franziska to her parents. Like, there's a lot of anger already built up in those sorts of situations. And so for this to just be, like, another thing, like, I get why that would, you know, make each of them even more upset. Something that is really interesting. So I'm trying to figure out. Hannah took the time machine, right? She traveled back to 1954 just so she could be like, hey, should have chosen me when you had the chance, but now I'm gonna make you suffer. Fuck you, Ulrich. Bye. You know, like, this bitch is petty on a whole nother level. And also just, like, so unself-aware, right? Like, so like unwilling to look at herself in the mirror or like look at anything outside of herself because she had her son back. Sure, it was an older version of him, but like she had her son back. And she was like, you know what? Fuck it. I would rather travel back in time to say fuck you to the guy who broke my heart than spend time with my son. Yeah. Hannah is a very annoying character to me because of many reasons. But, okay. She wanted Ulrich to suffer, like, right? She wanted Alexander to destroy his life. Kind of thought that when she found out that he was alive, like, she was gonna go back and be like, Ulrich, I love you, like, let's run away together or whatever. But I think that because she knows that he's not gonna choose her ultimately in the end, that she would rather be petty and like get the last laugh than just, I don't know, be a normal fucking human and try to like be like, yeah, it sucks that the guy that I loved didn't love me back the same way, but like also maybe recognize that he had a lot of fucking shit going on at the time. Yeah, I don't know. Hannah, and now she's back in 1954, like, right? Like, what is gonna happen? Like, I'm just hoping that she does not reproduce in some way and then, like, further muddy the genetic waters, like, you know, like, I don't know. I have zero trust in Hannah in any choice that she makes. Also, a bit, like, with her and Egon, because I also know that, obviously, Doris, his wife, is, you know, not feeling him right now. Maybe has never felt him, you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, they have a kid together, but she definitely seems to enjoy Agnes's company more. So I don't know if something's going to go on there, in which case, like, I don't even know, you guys. I don't know. A bit worried about what Hannah is going to do in 1954. Just concerned because she plans to stay there. So, kind of interested in where we're going to go with that. I am also annoyed with myself because I remember them mentioning the White Devil before, and like I don't remember who mentioned it or in what context. So that's a bit frustrating because I've been trying to like keep on top of it and like remember things and be good about it. Maybe I wrote it down in my extensive notes. Let me look for a second. I don't remember, but I do have a sort of random theory, speaking of Hannah being in 1954, reproducing and shit. I was gonna say, what if she is Charlotte's mother? But I don't know that that makes sense, just because Charlotte's obviously, I don't know. I don't think she would be born in 1954, but I also don't know. Anyway, that's my random theory for now. But we also still don't know Charlotte's mother, which I feel is gonna be like important going forward. So I'm just trying to like keep an eye on it, try to figure it out. We'll see. Something that I was not expecting was that Clausen had any personal sort of relationship with or interest in Alexander. So that's really interesting. So he came to Winden solely because he got that letter. Now, who sent him the letter and why? Like, what was the purpose? It makes the most sense that it would be either Jonas or Claudia, but like, to what end? To what purpose? Why? And what happened to his brother? Was he murdered? I will say, I don't understand, obviously, like, American, whatever, but I just, like, I feel like Clausen would have no probable cause to actually arrest or hold Alexander on suspicion of identity theft simply because of the 2 inches, right? Like 5'6" to 5'8" is really not that much of a difference. And especially because like people can lie about their height. And a lot of times people do lie about their height to make themselves taller. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that would not hold up in a court of law. Now, maybe because he took his brother's identity, like, he knows, like, that's part of it too, because he's like, hey, this isn't my brother. So maybe there was some probable cause that just wasn't explained. But the only explanation was the 5'6" to 5'8". And, like, to me, I'm like, that's circumstantial at best, right? Because, like, I mean, I guess it's technically not circumstantial because, I mean, unless you whip out a fucking tape measure, I guess. But again, like, 2 inches is not that much when you're talking about height. And I feel like people lie about their height all the time. So I just feel like that's not enough to hold somebody on. So I'm a little confused about that. But obviously there was a lot more to it than that. But maybe I'm just harping on the wrong thing. But it just seems silly to me that that's how he would be able to hold him. Now, what happened to his brother, and does his brother have to do with all of this? I wonder. Was I supposed to recognize his brother? Okay. I kind of don't feel like continuing to scrub through, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to recognize him, but I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't know that I have like a ton more to say. The Jonas and Marta scenes make me a little bit uncomfy when they're like a bit more intimate and it's older Jonas, because I do not know how old Marta is supposed to be, but I feel like about 16, maybe 17 at a stretch. And so like it just makes me a little uncomfy. But yeah, I can understand like how older Jonas would be sort of captivated by that time in his life, and also how he maybe never like emotionally matured beyond that point in his life because he had a lot of other shit going on. And so Marta would be sort of this like representation of this romanticized point in his life before everything turned to shit. So I can understand that, and I can understand for her like this is the guy she loved, especially because when that scene was taking place, she had no idea he was her nephew, you know. I would be curious to see their interactions post her learning about that, if we have them. So, yeah. I don't know. I think that's all I have to... Wait, sorry. I'm also really curious as to like what Katerina and them are going to do with this time machine. I wish people would be a little bit nicer to Bartosz. Like, I feel like y'all should all get together, huddle real close, use the time machine to go somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I think that, you know, I just wish that everybody could like be a little bit more communicative. Like, I do understand like where Marta and Franziska are coming from in that respect, because like if people would communicate with each other, like everybody knows this shit is happening and like nobody's communicating with each other. Again, I understand why initially, but now that everybody is kind of on the same page, at least all the, you know, main characters that we know in this time period, like I kind of wish that they could just communicate a little bit better. Yeah. Curious to see how it's going to go though. Anyway, I am going to stop rambling at you guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want, you can watch the next episode right now over on Patreon, which is linked in the description down below. That will be the season finale of season 2 of Dark. I can't wait. I hope to see you guys there. Oh, well, also on Patreon, you can also watch my entire full-length reaction to this episode in every single episode thus far of Dark, watch-along style, so you will have to have your own footage from Netflix queued up. But yeah, I'm excited for the finale. I hope you guys are too, and I hope to see you there. Until then, bye guys. Oh, my nose itches so bad.